Hi guys, this is Wences. Welcome back to my channel. Today I want to talk to you about the fear of missing out, FOMO. I mean, we've heard it. It's like actually something funny. People are talking about it when it comes to going out to a party and you're not able to go and your friends are going. But if you look at it in a little bit broader spectrum, you'll see that it's something that people really suffer from. And I used to suffer from it all the time. And it was something that was in me at all times. I wasn't really aware what was going on, but I had like this feeling in my chest of something is missing. This is not how life is supposed to be. I'm not really fulfilling my deepest desires, what I think will make my life worthwhile. And so I kind of lost my way and I was on a path of, life doesn't make any sense. I have to give it meaning. And then through that whole thing, I kind of found like my way to spirituality. I found out for me that there is source energy, that there's a universal power that holds all of us together. Everybody has different understandings of it, or some people are not like consciously aware of it at all. Others have like their best connection through their religion. But all together, for me, it was important to understand that I am a co-creator. I always have to like find my way in alignment of it's all in me, it's all like source energy. I have to like find my way in this. And once I did this, I realized, yes, I do create my reality. I'm in control of my reality, but it also has a lot to do with surrendering. Because in the end, like most of our lives, like there is this thing of, the universe takes care of us. We're not being dealt more than we can handle. And all of this is happening. And although there's so many, really bad things happening, and they might be happening, like just, somebody in your family getting really sick, or, just like things that you feel like you had no control over. But there's like a bigger picture of it. If you look at it from a perspective of we're all one, and in the end, this is all growing, and we all want to make the world a better place, it all kind of like finds its place and, it finds its meaning. There were certain things happening in the last weeks that, brought some things to my attention. So I believe like constantly throughout life, we're all like things are happening around us that we're not aware of because this is not where our focus goes on, right? And so the last weeks I've been more aware of this FOMO phenomenon. Clients have been talking to me about this. I interpret my situation from that perspective. I talked to one of my friends yesterday about this. So there's this fear of missing out that is, you can have it from like, what do I do in my social life? I'm actually not really going out and having fun. It can be like my friend who was in a similar situation as I was, which was, I'm at this like corporate job. It looks great on paper. The money is good and all of that, but I have to make compromises with my integrity of doing things I don't want to do, or like having to work hours that I don't feel are justifying, the end result. And to like see, okay, well, we're playing in the system, and to get out of it and to kind of like realize that we have control over our life as long as we, accept the fact that we are co-creators, that we're part of this all. You get to change the system which we're playing by, which is our mind. So my friend, for example, for her, she is like thinking in this corporate world, and on the one hand she wants to succeed and she wants to have like all of that she deserves, but at the other hand, like on the other hand, it's like there's a price she has to pay she doesn't want to pay. And then the only thing she thinks of in the first thought was, okay, it's just those two alternatives. There is like this discrepancy about this because I want the success, but I don't want to pay the price. But you don't have to do one or the other. You really don't. It's because if you stay in that system of the corporate world, those are the laws that you have to play by. But you have complete choice of, deciding that you don't want to play in this game. You don't want to play in this game of this company or of this country or whatever it is. And I know we have like some kind of seemingly constriction, like things they're keeping us from like making big steps, but we can always make little changes. And the first thing is to like really change the system that is playing on in your head, which is that you do not have to play by the rules that you are assigning to like that company. Because I personally at that company, I wouldn't care. I would have gone out and we have the same possibility. So it's not just, you know, you're dealt with this hand and so therefore you have to become this way. It's maybe a little more difficult, but once you do like the right steps to adapt and to change and to realize I don't have to play by this system, I can create my own system. And my own system is I'm not gonna compromise my well-being. I'm not gonna compromise, you know, I don't wanna work more than those hours, and I wanna work something where I feel it has a purpose. And if you make this your new reality, automatically you will just look out for different kind of jobs and different kind of opportunities. And first off, it is never said that this means you have to sacrifice having you know, more success in the future. Not at all. Like, you know, people like Warren Buffett have been saying it over and over again. If you really want to be successful, go with something you love to do, where you don't have to compromise your integrity. And then this is where you have the biggest chance, because otherwise there will always be resistance. Because you know, it's not like you can play by society's rules and become successful, as I said, on paper. But it just like, it comes with a lot of pain. It comes with a lot of suffering. It comes with, you know, compromising things like, you know, our health, our energy, our integrity. And, you know, it's not necessary. If this is what you get to choose, then this is your, you know, your prerogative. You get to do all of this. But another thing that came up, like especially the last weeks, was this thing, and I saw it in more than one show, was that 98% of all people don't get to follow their dreams, or don't like really follow their dreams through. They have them in their mind, but they never put in the action. And only 3% really go through with their dreams. You know, there's something like this. And I saw this in more than one show, and it kind of like really hit me, because, you know, I'm so oblivious sometimes to the privileges I've been given, which are, for example, that my mom was always into this stuff. Like, since I was small, I've always been confronted with the thought of, you create your own reality. You don't have to work for somebody. You can do your own thing. And since I was always a little different, I didn't have much choice. I had to like really soon understand I can't play by society's rules, because if I play by those rules, I'm completely gonna be neglected. It's just like, you know, it's just like that. But I completely believe that, you know, when I'm 70, when I'm 80, it's not gonna be those 98%. I believe that we're more and more going in a direction where consciousness becomes a thing, where people are aware of, we like make the rules of what is really the measurement of our success. And it's not just money. It's not just, you know, having like the next thing achieved and so on, because we're like so many of us are striving for this. This is where our society is at. And our, you know, the numbers for mental health are, you know, not like it's not mental health. Like, as I said, I'm not a professional. I'm probably going to say something wrong. Like, this is like, you know, an illness, but in general, like there's so much that we could be more talking about it. And even if you're just on like a spectrum of having depressive moods, like really just like in the beginning of it, if we were more aware of how to redirect it and how to get out of this fear of missing out syndrome or anxiety and all of that, you know, we can turn life completely around. And we do have the capacity for it, because I have made it a point to not just go through that, get out of it, but to kind of like do it so much on my own that I learned what it takes. I learned what it's all about. I learned it's about like creating new patterns in our mind. I understood that relationships are such a big part of it, and that you don't have to make those compromises ever, because they're, you know, endless possibilities of how to align your life. And so, you know, I watched a lot of Chelsea Handler interviews lately. So there's been, you know, she has a new book out and stuff like that. I don't know if you know her, but she's like a comedian who's like been overly, you know, big mouth, completely like bad behavior all her life, making money through that and being rewarded for that. And now she kind of like understood, okay, I I got to a breaking point and understood that, okay, it is about, so much more about mindfulness and about understanding that the fear of missing out is because we're giving the wrong things the wrong measurement. Like, it's not just about the next big thing. It's about being really happy right now and to contribute for something bigger than us. And that's why so many people say, if you're like, oh, I don't know what to do, and drama and all of that, go help at an animal shelter, go like do and talk to people who actually need your help, so you understand it's more like, more than you. And it's not just a thing of giving up on yourself, because I used to think, oh, I'm doing so much for people, not understanding how conditional that was. And I'm still struggling with that. I still had like this thing of, well, I'm doing so much, like, and I'm expecting that kind of result. And, I get that. And so once I have every time, something like this happen, and I get this feeling of fear of missing out, which this is actually what's happening, right? I am feeling like I'm missing out on the success I should be having. I'm missing out on the satisfaction I should be having. There's this fear of missing out. And then I realized, well, you already have everything that, makes you complete. It's not gonna be, that many, like, because if you want to help people, like I, understood for a long time, like I want to help people, but it's still, as I said, like day in and day out, like I learn more and more how conditional that actually is, and how judgmental I am in so many ways. And then you're not aware of it. But once I get aware of it, like, if you really want to help somebody, it doesn't matter if you reach, hundreds and millions of people, or if you go to talk to one person and help them out. You can start with that little thing and not expect anything in return. And once you start doing that, making sure that you understand the value of it. I'm all about, it's not just about like vocation and like in a way that leaves you out of it. If you are part of it all, you have to make sure that you're at your best state, right? That you are taking care of yourself. And that is, also understanding that your health is more important than money, that your sleep is more important than money, to understand that at the same time you do like deserve like abundance. That's like our birthright, but nobody's gonna give it to us. We have to like give it to ourselves, and to understand, okay, if I'm like thinking I don't go out on weekends and I don't do anything with friends, then like to start doing this. And although it feels weird, and although you feel like, well, I'm so tired, to say, well, let me start doing that. Let me make it a point. Like I used to really make it a point, because I was somebody, I went to school when I was a kid. I came home, I watched TV, and that's it. I didn't go out. When I was 18, I didn't have like that phase. So like, I understand now more and more how important relationships are. And so I like kind of forced myself in the beginning to start, having lunch dates, like on Saturdays, just with a friend, going out, sharing. And now, like, the more you do that, the more it just gives you so much. That's why so many people get so excited once they have kids, and they say like, oh, okay, that like really changed my life, because, it's not just about you. It's bigger than you, but you are part of it, like it's such a thing of, I thinking like, oh, I used to be such a martyr and I used to give away so much. But it was still conditional. It was like, oh, I'm going to be a good person once I sacrifice so much of myself, and therefore people are going to see that I sacrifice so much for them, and then they will love me back. And with FOMO, it's not anything different. It really comes down to this: make it a priority to have good relationships in your life. If you're at a job that is not giving you like this feeling of, I'm calm, I'm like really appreciated for what I do, it goes like, I don't have to like play by external rules, which you never do in the first place. You're the one creating those rules for yourself, and you're just setting yourself in an environment where those rules are being, repeated to you, mirrored back to you, and so on. If you believe you have to work really, really, really hard in order to be a good person, you're going to put yourself in a situation where everybody around you is working really, really hard and sacrificing a lot, and having drama with their family and all of that. You get to decide that. And so it's really curable. I can guarantee you that, because as I said, I used to be in a position where I felt it all the time. Now I have it very rarely, that I have it maybe every like 2 months and stuff like that, but every time it's a level upgrade. And I get to like trust that process even more, because it's just like this, I feel like I'm missing out on something. Something is missing. And then to understand, I can't find that thing that I'm missing outside of myself. I can't find it in anything that I don't have already. It's about giving things different meaning. You know, like what I was talking about, Chelsea Handler, she was like on this show, Wisdom 2.0. And so she tells about like how her therapist gave her like this orange that he picked up in his garden. And that her first reaction was, I don't even eat carbs, and I sure don't like fruit at room temperature and all of that stuff, until it came back to when she like started peeling it, that, you know, it's just such a kind gesture that somebody actually sat down, thought about me, brought me this orange and gave it to me. And you know, like we have like this thing in our society that we need to have the perfect relationship, the perfect job, make a lot of money, have influence here and there, and then our life will be great. And in a lot of ways, you'll see people who have actually achieved so much of that, they kind of like calm down. They realize, I don't have to be on this train. And, you know, things like, you know, with Nipsey Hussle, like dying, being killed, like, what was it, 1 week, 2 weeks ago, you know, and you see how now people are, you know, they're really talking about it because of the whole lifestyle, because of all of those messages that were more than just like make money and, you know, bling bling and whatever it is, but it's, you know, that life is more than that. And once we start doing this, you'll see like so many people that have found this in themselves, and they calm down and realize that there has to be a balance of how much time do I actually spend with my family, how much time do I spend really with people I love, how much like do I travel or really like enjoy myself, and at the same time I give value that is really beneficial in the long run. It's just not feeding like an old system that we don't want anymore. And our society, everything is going in the direction of more consciousness. That's just what it is. And so what I'm doing is not what most people are doing, but it is my truth, and it's what I believe is going to be where our life is headed at. And I see more and more people waking up to it. And so those are the things that make me feel like I'm not missing out on life. And so a really good tip, for example, is to realize, well, you know, imagine yourself, you had everything you ever wanted. Like, let's say the perfect relationship, you have like, you know, $10 million in the bank. You know, you can do whatever you want. What do? And I don't mean what are you going to do with the money. I mean, like, you know, let's say you bought everything you wanted to buy and you helped all your families that you wanted to help. What are you going to do every single day from now on? And, you know, I've asked this to a lot of people. I've asked this, like, you know, to friends, to clients, you know, my mom. And at first it's like, I don't know exactly. I really don't know exactly what that would be. But if you sit down for like a week straight and you think about it for 10 minutes every day, you will know. It's really not that far away from your, you know, consciousness. It really isn't. And that is the thing that we should strive for. You know, it might change. You know, it might change at some point, but this is like our current thing of worthiness. Because we feel once we have all of this achievement or whatever, that will give us also this, you know, feedback from society of, oh, you're doing great and so on. Then we feel worthy to actually do the things that really bring us joy and that connect us all. And once you're like really think about what those things would be, and then you can do little things that work towards that now. And that's the great thing I realized that really makes the fear of missing out completely go away, is that it's never about the end result. It's, you know, when I felt like I'm betraying myself, it wasn't because I hadn't reached all the success, or because I hadn't, you know, made this huge thing happen, or because I haven't found like the greatest relationship. Like those fears went away the moment I committed to doing something about them. So I really actively started saying I want a long-term relationship. I started to like really actively meet people. I decided I wanted to have like an impact on the world about, you creating your own reality. And I started this channel 4 or 5 years ago. You can see like at what kind of quality the videos were, at like how limited my own abundance was at that time. But the moment I started doing those things, the moment I committed to saying I'm gonna like see my family once a week, I'm gonna make sure I have a great relationship with my friends, I cherish that, I do all of those things. The moment I started doing those things, that's when it all went away. It's never about, having that thing necessarily. This feeling goes away the moment you are that important to yourself that you start giving yourself those things and that you're working towards them. Because why does it feel so bad, this fear of missing out? It feels so bad because we're not doing anything about it. And it doesn't matter how small it is. So let's say, I heard this thing of like, okay, you have, I don't know, like let's say you have debt. And then like I always mess those things up. I don't mean depth as in depth. I mean debt. Like you owe somebody money. The moment, and you don't want to look at it, or you don't want to look at your bad bank account and stuff like that. The moment you look at it and you say like, even if it's $5 each month, I'm going to do something towards like getting in a better space. The moment you make a plan, the moment you communicate that with the other person or whatever it is, and the moment you commit to that, a lot of this burden goes away. Because then you're actually facing your truth or your current situation, and you're taking like action into making that happen. And that's a control we always have. So if you feel like the fear of missing out because you're not seeing friends or you're not having fun, well, start having fun. Like, I know it sounds so simple and so stupid in many ways, but I wasn't doing that. I was thinking like, well, it's not going to bring me any fun to meet my friends. Like, it sounds great in theory, but it's not really going to actively change something about how I feel. And it will. It will. If you start doing this in a way that is not, that is in tune with you. So, for example, I know people who hate going to bars. It's not their scene. And so if somebody said, well, start going to bars, that will make a change. Like, probably not. But relationships in any kind of way give us something, and it's connection and it's love, and it makes us understand what this is really about, and that life is so much more than the bank account and the title or whatever it is. And the funny thing is that once you start seeing it more and more like this, and this fear of missing out goes away because you're actively building this wonderful world for you, all those other things come anyway. They really do. And if they don't, it's because you don't find them necessary. So, I was so scared. Like, what if it happens that I just will lose complete touch with reality, and then I want to move somewhere in like a hut in the mountains and just like talk to, local people and like lose all of that. And why was I so afraid of that? If that is what made me more happy than being here, then I would willingly give all of this up. For now, I love this. I love the city life. I love traveling. I want to have more abundance and help more people, and, facilitate all of the dreams I want to, have, and see how much I can make out of it. But that's just my current state. And the less I am attached to that, and I'm more attached to my own, experience, things will just adapt in a way that we didn't think was possible. So you'll see me talking to you here, doing this completely on my terms in a country, like, most of I live in Germany, where this whole thing is even less common here. Like, I remember telling my friend who's like a neurosurgeon that I'm quitting my job a year ago, and her first, and she knows that I've been doing this, and her first reaction was, so you're gonna be like without a job? Like, I don't know what the word is, but like, jobless, so to say. Like, I'm gonna get like health, like not health, I'm I'm gonna get help from the state, because now I just like stop working. It's like, no, I have my own business and this is working. Like, it's like the measurement of how little this is accepted, what I do, or like it's really not that accepted over here, much less than, let's say, in other parts of Northern Europe, of the States, Canada, Australia, whatever it is, and so it still works. It still works because I have created this reality for myself, and I have detached myself from society's expectations. And, as I said, the fear of missing out is something we built for ourselves, and we have all the power to let all of that go, by focusing on those things that really make us happy, and to do that as much as possible, and to do them now. So think about, what would you do if you had all those things that you think you need and you want, and all that success and all that, all of those things? What would you do? Not with the money, but what would you do every day? What would you like to work on? What would be your motivation to get out of bed? And so many people have never asked themselves this question because it's all been about survival, and our grandparents have definitely been in a situation like this. And so, but we're moving more and more in this field of consciousness. And so it is really the solution to so many of our problems in this world. I want to do more workshops where you can really get your questions out, and we talk about things more specifically for those who really want to invest more in themselves. So I think the next one is going to be April 20th. I don't know how many people have signed up yet. I haven't really talked about it much, and only in the last video, but I'll do it a little bit more public. But sign up, there's a link below this, so you can just get information on it. Once I have your email, I know that you're interested, then I'll just send you emails once I have something up. And you can still decide that you want to subscribe, unsubscribe, or whatever it is. But life is just too beautiful to waste it on feeling where fear. What was the FOMO? Fear of missing out. We're not supposed to miss out, because it's all here and it's all beautiful, and it's just waiting for us to open up the gift of life. And I can't wait to share as much as I can with you. If you need any kind of assistance, or you want to take the next step, check everything out on my website, wences.com. I have different things going on there, and you can write me anytime and see how I can help you. I wish you a great week, guys. I love you very much, and I wish you all the love in the world.